I I don't think I got angry with God, but I didn't like going to church. And I was born and raised in the church. And and like Miss Denise said, that just having that understanding, you know, and the maturity in God is what keeps you going. But I'm gonna tell you that fleshly side, no, I didn't want to go to church. That was the first time that I realized church is all about death. Every sermon, every song, everything about church is about death. And it just kept reminding me over and over and over that he wasn't here, over and over and over that he was gone, over and over that I'm a widow, over and over that my kids don't have that. I mean, it was just, I just didn't like going to church. I didn't want to go. I went. Only reason that I went, it wasn't because I was rooted and grounded in the Lord, even though, um, I feel that I am. But the only reason that I went is because my mama didn't stop, right? That example again. She didn't stop. And I'm saying, how could she not? Right? And then I look at my kids. Okay, well, I have to be an example for them where they can just know to keep going and to keep going and to keep going. And my son didn't like going. He and I felt the same way. Um, but I don't think I was mad at God. Just didn't want to go to church. I didn't want to have to be reminded of that every Sunday, every Wednesday. So I got on the media team, threw myself into something that would keep me busy, even though I'm sitting in service until I got to a point to where I could actually listen to a sermon again. I was working. I was at a job. I'm making sure that the slides right and all this kind of stuff. I don't know if it makes sense, but that's what I had to do to keep myself going to church. Uh, I I see death different now. I see it different. Um, I I wanted to go. I was suicidal, definitely, uh, completely. I just didn't want to be here. It's just too hard. It's just too hard. And I know my mind says, I mean, I got five sisters. They're gonna take care of the kids. You know, they'll have money, to raise them, stuff like that. I was in a really dark place, a really, really dark place. When you came to stay with me, I was in a dark place. Um, and I was. You know that I was. You didn't seem like you were worried, Kel, but I think that you were. Uh, and I don't know what we were talking about or what I was rambling. I have no idea. But I know because you know me that I was in a really dark place. Um, it still gets dark. There's not a day that goes by that I don't talk about him or mention him or think about him. A song will come on, and again, I just be like, God, dog. My daughter, uh, Ryan comes in my room, and every now and then she'll talk about her dad, and she'll say, "Mama, me and Daddy used to sing songs to each other all the time." I didn't know that. I had no idea that that was their relationship. And she was like, when a new song would come out, I would sing it to Dad, and he would listen to it and he would like it. And I didn't know that. I knew he and Reagan had a real good relationship because she was the only one that could make him do anything when I couldn't. She could tell him what to do and he would do it. It didn't matter how old she was. And she would talk to him. She would tell him. about his stuff, right? Uh, he and Seth were just good friends. I mean, when I would go sing and Seth was the only kid, they would have camp outs and stuff like that. Just guy stuff without me. Um, so I was worried about them, and I was worried about myself. So I just had to keep going. I didn't get upset with God, but it took me a long time to like church again. Just took me a long time to just be like, okay, all right, this is what we doing again today. Okay, and just not getting up and walking out. So it helped. It helps. It does help to keep going to church. It does help to keep going. Um, Grief will never go away. It's not going to go away. It doesn't get lighter. Um, it Time just passes and you get more mature. You kind of start understanding death a little bit more, and that's all I could say. I went to therapy. Uh, I went to therapy. It didn't work. I don't know if I was receptive or if I was just smart because the stuff that she was telling me to do, I was already working on it, right? I know how to think positive because I'm very self aware of myself and my emotions and my feelings. So you could feel yourself going to that dark place. And like we were talking the other day, you want to stay there. When you go to the dark place, you don't want to come out. That's you comfortable. I was comfortable in that dark place. I liked it there. That's it was sort of familiar in a weird way, but she really didn't help me. She really didn't help me. But my son went, and I think she gave him some tools to help him. Um, but no, I know God. I know him. I know he knows what he's doing. So no. Now I fell out with God when my daddy died. Because I was 13, I didn't understand. Now we fell out when my daddy died. But when this happened to me, no, I didn't fall out with him. I just didn't want to go to church. If that makes sense.